Prologue. In the early 1950s, in the suburbs of Elizabeth, New Jersey, a young Judy Blume almost found herself at odds with her body's rhythms. She had not inherited Aunt Gert's large breasts. And she hadn't started her period yet. I wanted this so desperately. But when finally got it, couldn't tell anyone because told them got it in 6th grade. She had discovered the joys of self-stimulation, but suffered from a lack of privacy. There was solace along the way. Her friends had bigger boobs than hers, sure, but were kind and honest, and even if they hadn't learned the word yet, were just as eager to discuss things like masturbation. And finally their monthly bleeding came. More on that later. At the Courtyard Cafe of Books and Books, a long-running indie shop in Miami, a dedicated man stands out as I scan last-minute thoughts in my notebook. "Are you writing the next great American novel?" he asks. "No, but I'm here to meet someone who already has it," I told him. The man, who introduces himself as Mitchell Kaplan, the owner of the shop, knows who I mean. She and her husband of 43 years, George Cooper, run a book and bookstore near their home in Key West. Judy sees me before I see her. After being given a mission by his reporters to find the reporter in the yellow suit, he arrives, fist-pumping, yellow suit. Yellow dress. Yellow dress. George follows behind him as he comes to greet me and Mitchell. Judy talks about what a wonderful mentor Mitchell was in art of selling books, and Mitchell returns the favor. "There's his first bookstore in Key West to actually do it," she says. "They completely changed the literary community there." He waves the praise, "They're all tourists." George is Judy's third husband and proud of it. After laughing at her cheerful appearance in the upcoming Amazon Prime Video documentary, Judy Blume Forever, I feel like I've already met her and I'm telling her. "Oh, did you see it?" Chuckles. "Don't mind what you say about other husbands, because they're..." I can't help but crack a grin. Judy frowned. "But my children are alive and well," she says. Her daughter Randy and son Larry are the products of her first marriage to John Blume, whom she divorced in 1975. I don't like to say bad things about people. That's what I'm trying to tell my daughter. Nothing bad about him. She acts in a way that honors their ex-husband's existence without diverting the subject. "My grandson and his wife loved the documentary," he tells me. "They wrote me a letter, thank you. We didn't know anything like that about you. They've never seen me young." That's what Judy Blume does. We barely survived our hello, but it already took us to a moment of acute reflection and retreated again. It's not hard to picture her as young woman in the documentary, spawning masterpieces of children's literature like Fudge series and Blubber, and mischievous adult titles like Wifey. Since 1970, is there God out there? "This is me," Margaret, has taught girls, including myself, about the menstrual cycle for generations, before hearing their mothers breathe those words. Giggling joyful preteens and groups of right-wing parents protested 11-year-old Margaret and her friends using their breasts. We must do this. We have to increase our business." But behind the scenes of this blatant horror humor is a poignant narrative about a girl torn between her mother's Christianity and her father's Judaism, above all else desperately trying to relate to God. Adults who grew up with Judy's books are asking her right now when they make a pilgrimage to Key West to visit her bookstore. And when families go to the movies in April, silent tears and tight hugs will be sure to inspire. Are you their God? It's me, Margaret. More than 50 years ago, the name Judy Blume became an enduring pop culture staple for the courage needed to write a book about puberty and sex like no one else did. And now, between Margaret, Judy Blume Forever, and at least 3 movie and TV projects, Judy is becoming a movie star. While eating lunch, Mitchell stops by to ask Judy if she'll be free for breakfast in a few days, but she gets her hair and makeup done for an event at the Miami Film Festival. "It'll be glam," she chuckled, before turning to her grilled cheese. Judy Blume still has questions about her childhood. It doesn't help that some of her memories feel illusory, and I don't mean because of her age. "All I heard about my grandmother growing up was that she came to America on a banana boat," says Judy. And then I said that at my mom's 80th birthday party. George I did a little show with music and pictures, then my mom said, "Where did you get the idea that Nanny was riding a banana boat?" Judy is rolling her eyes now. She had spent the first banana of her life on the boat. Came from a shtetl in Ukraine. Why are you riding a banana boat? But when it's your story all your life, at this point in our conversation, Judy pointed to her relationships with her parents here and there. He idolized his father, his mother was more complex. I asked him what impression he had of their marriage as a child. Looking for an answer. You don't really think about it until you're very old, she says. They were high school sweethearts. People ask, what were they doing together, they asked. So, they were so different. But they would stay together, I can tell you that. Is it because they love each other? One more break. I have a little wall hanging on it, and behind it, my father wrote a poem to my mother that I can read to you. To little Esther, sweet and fair 17 years old, slammed her hair. If he thought of me the way I think of him, the world wouldn't be so bare. Judy's father, Rudolf Sussman, at the age of 54. I never saw him write his first book. And while nothing could erase this tragedy, especially since she just 5 weeks before her first wedding, she had been waiting for it her whole life. There was time when Judy was separated from her father during adolescence. Her brother had a serious kidney infection that needed warmer climate, so the family moved to Miami, leaving Rudy in New Jersey to pursue her dentistry. But Rudy was the youngest of 7 siblings who all young. He thought Judy was sick. What a burden for a 9-year-old, right? It has transformed into a higher power. If you keep my dad safe, I'll get 100 on my spelling test. This had nothing to do with organized faith. Nothing like this ever happened in a synagogue. Just me and God. After spending 2 years in Miami, father and daughter are reunited and that desperation has disappeared.